Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jerry, and today I'm going to be going over all my Week 3 picks. I do score predictions, money line, and against the spread. So I'm going to go over all of it in this one video for you. So thank you for watching with all the past videos. Been great support on the recent videos, so I appreciate it. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into this. We got Week 3 starting it off. We have tonight Jets-Patriots. I got the Jets 20, Patriots 17. I'm worried about the Jets losing this game. That's why I'm definitely taking the Patriots against the spread in this one at plus 6.5 for the Patriots. If you haven't seen these, the spread that it's pictured on the screen above me here is always on the side of the team. So Jets minus 6.5. Therefore, Patriots plus 6.5. I'm taking the Patriots. I just think the Patriots have been running the ball really well, and the Jets haven't had a great run defense. And Christian Gonzalez on the Patriots has been locked down. So I think if somehow the young corner can help get in the head of Aaron Rodgers, which I don't see being possible, it could make it tough for them to throw. And the Patriots defense all around has also been pretty good. So I'm interested to see how they can get to Aaron Rodgers and see if they can get the win. But I'm definitely taking them against the spread. I'm just scared to bet against Aaron Rodgers. It never seems like a good idea. And I think of the Patriots as kind of a similar caliber team, just not as dysfunctional as the Titans. And obviously the Jets won last week against the Titans. That's why I think they'll still pull out the win, but I'm not confident at all. And I honestly wouldn't recommend betting on it, except you can get the Patriots at plus 6.5, or you could even do like an alternate. Like, I don't see the Patriots making this game letting this game go more than a touchdown. So, but I'm taking Jets money line, Patriots against the spread. Next, we have Browns-Giants. This is another one where I'm surprised that the Browns are favorited by this much. Obviously, the Browns defense is going to be, I don't know if, I don't even know if it's going to be better than, what the Giants had to go up against last week. But I think that with the Browns not looking great so far, and the Giants, Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors kind of gaining some traction there, I think there's at least some promise to where all the Giants games have been fairly low scoring. Obviously, the Vikings kind of went off on them. I say all of them. There's been 2 games, and last week was 21-18. But when the Giants went up against the Commanders, they were able to keep it close. And I don't think the Browns are that much better than the Commanders, to be honest. So the fact that it's that wide of a spread, I do think the Browns are going to win, but I don't think that the Browns are going to be able to cover the spread. I think we're going to have another close game. I think we're going to have another low-scoring game. The Browns have been a part of some low-scoring games. I guess Cowboys beat them by a lot, but the Browns really haven't scored very much. They barely beat the Jaguars last week, so we have a similar score to their score last week. But I'm taking the Browns winning this one against the Giants, 17-13 again. Giants against the spread, because I think they'll be able to stay in the game. I just don't think they're going to win it. Next, we have Colts-Bears, where, I don't know, I was kind of surprised that the Bears were the dogs in this one. I guess it is in Indy, so that's probably where you're getting that from. But I don't know. I think the Bears are going to be able to go into Indy and take them down. The Colts defense really hasn't been that great so far early this year. And as long as you can get Anthony Richardson to make a couple mistakes, you can stay in the game against the Colts. They've kind of proved that with their game against the Texans and with their game against the Packers, where they've been in close games, but they just haven't been able to come out with the win. And that's kind of how it went for the Bears last week, but that was against the Texans, who are a great football team. So I'm taking the Bears in this one, winning 17, and obviously I'm taking them against the spread too, because they're plus 1.5. But the Bears dealing with some injuries. Keenan Allen might not play. Odunze might not play. I think he's actually closer because he ended up playing last week. But then Tevin Jenkins injured as well. A lot of injuries across the league. But again, I'm taking the Bears 17-14 in this one, and we'll move on to Vikings-Texans, which I actually changed this one last minute because I don't know. I thought there was a time where I was before the season started, when I was looking at this game and I was like, oh, Texans are going to smoke the Vikings. And then I was like, I think it's going to be a close game. The Texans might, pull it off and it'll be close. And I was like, the Vikings might win this game. So I have no idea what's going to happen this game, to be honest. And it is very tempting getting the Vikings at plus 2.5, because they very well could win this game. If you want to look at what's going on, the Vikings just beat the 49ers last week in a pretty big margin for, what was to be expected. And then the Texans beat the Bears last week. Very similar margins between the two games, and clearly the 49ers are better than the Bears. So based on that and based on it being in Minnesota, you would go, Jerry, the Vikings are going to win. But I don't know. I don't think so. I think the Texans are a dangerous team this year, and I'm going to have them win. And I think, typically Kevin O'Connell, when he gets a quarterback rolling, he only gets a few weeks and then starts to stumble. So I hope that doesn't happen for the Vikings and Sam Darnold's sake. But if it was to happen during a game, I wouldn't be surprised if it was against the Texans, because DeMeco Ryans is probably one of the best defensive minds in the league right now. And CJ Stroud to Nico Collins has been quite the pair. So I'm taking the Texans in this one. I also think it'll depend on how much time Joe Mixon plays with his injury that he's been having. Apparently he might not play at all. And I actually think that does make a big difference if he doesn't play, because their running game was a lot more dominant when he was playing. And I think that can kind of change the game, especially if it's going to be close. But either way, I'm taking the Texans. I'm taking them against the spread to cover that 2.5 that they have in Minneapolis. It just doesn't seem great, but I'm going to take it anyway. Next, we have Saints-Eagles. I have the Eagles. They're the dog in this game, which you're going into New Orleans, so I get it. But the Saints are just one of those teams where I know they're doing really well so far, but I just feel like it has to stop somewhere. And I think the Eagles are a good team. Obviously, they just lost to the Falcons, but Nick Sirianni and Big Dom are going to be trying their asses off to get this team rolling, and they're probably pissed. They still are pissed, I would assume. And so I think they're going to light a fire under these guys' asses and take it to the Saints in New Orleans and get the thing rolling again, because the Saints seem to be way too good. And if they like murder the Eagles, I think we're going to have a real problem on our hands with these Saints, because I was not expecting this at all. But I'm taking the Eagles in this one, cover, and plus 2.5 for the Eagles. It seems kind of wild to me. Again, I know it's in New Orleans, but that's just a little crazy. 28-24 Eagles over the Saints. Next, we have Steelers-Chargers. Now, Chargers, Justin Herbert hasn't really, I think he was limited in practice today, so that's not a great sign for the Chargers. I still have the Chargers winning just because the Steelers only seems like they can score, I don't know if they'll score 20 points all year, but their defense is going to play damn good. I just think that the offensive line of the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh wasn't messing around when he said he wanted to build the line. He picks up J.K. Dobbins, who I'm sure he watched when he was at Michigan run all over him, at Ohio State. And he was like, I can have that guy on my football team? Yeah, we're going to do that and run him behind, 6'12" Joe Alt and the rest of the offensive line. And it's scary. I think that I hate to say that the Chargers seem scary. Again, they played the Panthers last week, so you can't buy too much into that. But you're getting points for the Chargers, so I'm definitely taking them against the spread. And it's only 1.5 points. And it is in Pittsburgh, so there's obviously that going for them. But I don't know. I just don't see the Steelers scoring a lot of points, and I think the Chargers might make some smart drives down the field and just end up scoring more points than the Steelers. I could be completely wrong with this, and I wouldn't honestly recommend betting on these. These are just what my picks are. So I got the Chargers 24 and the Steelers 16, and then obviously Chargers against the spread money line. Buccaneers Broncos. This is one where the Buccaneers have looked amazing and the Broncos have looked pretty shitty, if we're going to be honest. But I think the Buccaneers in this game, I just have a feeling they're going to play down to the Broncos. You might not have Rashad White, and you have Pat Surtain over there, which can't guard both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so obviously that's going to be a bit of an issue. But I think they're going to play down to their opponent, and I thought I got lucky, honestly, with this, because when I make these, I make the graphic, then I put the numbers in for the score, then I add the spread afterwards, so I don't have any issues. You actually see where there's an issue later, because we're going to have a push, which I had to make an ultimate decision there. But I've got lucky with getting the Broncos here, and I don't know if I'd really want the Broncos, honestly, at plus 6.5, because the Buccaneers could just take it to them and win 35-6. That could also happen, especially if what's his name, Bo Nix starts becoming Bo Picks again, and having his problems that he's been having. They don't really know what they're doing in the run game between Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte Williams, which I think is going to be a problem, especially with him being Bo Nix being a rookie quarterback. That doesn't help the situation at all. And honestly, Tampa Bay, even without some of their DBs, they looked really good last week against the Lions. You have Vita Vea in the center still. So So it made it very tough for me to pick this close of a score. I honestly could have just done 21-14, and I'd feel a lot safer getting the difference there with the Buccaneers. But you know what? This is the numbers that I picked. This is what I have to live with. I got the Buccaneers at 20, Broncos at 14, somehow covering the 6.5 spread there. Titans, Packers. This just seemed like storybook to put the Titans and the Packers. Titans losing again with the same score the first 2 weeks. So I felt like I had to do that, so I did. And yeah, so we got 17 Titans, 24. We don't know if Jordan Love's going to play. Originally, it was 2 to 6 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's what is it? He practiced today, which is insane. So the team, the Packers, were able to run the ball really well with Josh Jacobs, and the Titans, on the other hand, ran the ball really well week 1, but it kind of fell off a little bit last week. And Will Levis just finds a way to make a mistake to lose a game. So I feel like history could just repeat itself. And I don't know why the Packers are plus 2.5 in this game. That just doesn't seem right to me. Maybe the books know something that I don't know, but I'm taking the Packers, and obviously I'm taking the plus 2.5 in the spread there. I thought that was wrong when I looked at it. I was like, Packers are 1-1, Titans are 0-2. They've made a lot of shitty mistakes. And the Packers have they won with the backup quarterback against the Colts. So I'm taking the Packers. Raiders, Panthers. This was an interesting one here. And I got the helmet on the wrong side, don't I? -5.5. Yeah, I got it on the completely wrong side. I did change the score last minute. So I will, you know what? Here, let me change that real quick for you. Okay, welcome back. We've got the helmet on the right side. Now I think the Red Rifle is going to come in there and just be slinging the rock. I saw a stat today that said, Bryce Young, in the 18 games that he's played, he's thrown over 250 yards one time, and he's thrown 2 touchdowns, no interceptions one time. In between those 18 games, there was one game where Andy Dalton played. He threw for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So with that being said, I think the Red Rifle's going to come in there and surprise the shit out of the Raiders, and the Panthers are going to come in and win this game at plus 5.5. I don't think it's going to last very long with the Panthers because I still think they're a shit team. Their offensive line has been playing better, but I don't know if it's going to matter that much with Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins over there. And the Panthers defense really hasn't been able to stop anybody. And with them having Devontae Adams and they being Raiders, having Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers going off last week, and Gardner Minshew just being able to sling the rock all over the Ravens. The Ravens is the name of their team. I think the Panthers are going to win. A lot of my picks this week, I really don't feel that confident, but I've done well so far, and you have to pick some upsets. If I came in here and I just picked the favorite to cover the spread every time, there would be no point to watch my video. So this is the point to watch my video, is to see that the Panthers are actually going to win a fucking football game. And it's going to be against the team that beat the Ravens last week, which is wild of me to think. But I'm taking the Panthers. I think the Red Rifle's going to do it. 24-21. Seahawks, Dolphins, similar score to week 1 for the Dolphins and against the Jaguars, except they're on the losing end this time. That's because Tua's out. Tyler Huntley, if he's in there, he's got to learn the offense. I don't think he is, though. I think it's the Skylar Thompson guy, who honestly filled in pretty well. But I think the Seahawks, honestly, they've looked fine so far. They've always been close in the games. That's why I think the Dolphins cover. I think Dolphins could win this game. I just think the Seahawks do have the more complete team. That's why I feel confident about them winning. I just don't feel confident about them covering. So I'm taking the Seahawks at 20, Dolphins 17. Obviously, Dolphins covering that spread. Next, we have Cardinals, Lions. This is my kind of goof here because I told you I picked the score. Then I add in the odds, the +3, the spread is what they call it. Welcome to my video. But the Cardinals, I don't know. I thought it was going to be a close game. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game because the Cardinals have put up a lot of points. Typically, the Lions put up a lot of points. They had a bad week last week, and I think Dan Campbell probably didn't spend any time at Applebee's this week. He was probably just chewing his entire team's ass out for losing to the Buccaneers. So I think that he is also going to light a fire under the Lions' asses, similar to Nick Sirianni over there in Philadelphia. And I think the Lions come out with the win. They come out scoring again. And the Cardinals keep it close, which I made it 3, and of course it's a +3. So I thought in a point where I have to decide, I was going to take the Lions, and I've got to do something real quick here. Yeah, honestly, I hate to do it, but they're just honestly the Cardinals. They've been playing really well, and the fact that I get them at +3, I think they could honestly win the game. So in the event of when the spread, I'm voting for +3, although my score doesn't necessarily reflect it. So I'm taking the Cardinals. And the video said at the beginning of the lines we had 2 changes here. One actually wasn't a change; it was just a faulty graphic on my end. But I'm taking the Cardinals against the spread. But I do think it's going to be a push here. With the Lions at 31 and the Cardinals at 28. Next, we have Cowboys, Ravens. This one's basically the Ravens just finally get their win. They played one difficult team, and then they played the Raiders, and then they somehow managed to lose both games while looking great the whole game. Lamar Jackson has been throwing the football really well, running the ball well. They have Derrick Henry, which is wild to me. And the Cowboys just kind of fell apart last week against the Saints. And I think it could result in a Ravens win. They've been itching for a win. It is in Jerry world, not my world, but Jerry Jones. And I think 1.5. I don't know. I'm taking the Ravens. They're bound to win a game soon, right? Bound to get a pick right. I'm taking the Ravens 28, Cowboys 24 here. Then we have the Rams and the 49ers. Now that you're going, Jerry, how are the Rams going to score 17 points without Puka Nacua, without Cooper Kupp, and without their starting offensive tackles? Well, I have no idea, if I'm being honest. The 49ers have a big slew of injuries as well between, oh boy, I can't even remember them all. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. I think there's an offensive lineman in there too. Isn't one of the receivers injured? I don't know. There's so many people injured in this game. I have no idea. I would stay far away for it. Although my thumbnail would say otherwise. I would stay far away from this game just because you have no idea what's going to happen with the injuries. And I've got another wrong graphic. What's going on? I big mistakes. Here, let me fix it for you. Yeah, you were looking at the screen going, -6.5 for the Rams. Not a chance. They're playing the 49ers. So, yeah, we're taking the 49ers in this one, 27-17. How the 49ers are going to put up all those points, I don't know. Probably Jordan Mason, I would assume. I would start him in fantasy. I don't really have any other advice for this game because of all the injuries. But yeah, I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to take them against the spread. I still think they're a great football team, and the Rams are battered. 49ers are battered too, but the Rams are like battered, fried, and with a side of ranch right now. They're really far in the basket here. So I'm taking the 49ers. Falcons Chiefs originally had a bigger, a wider margin here, and I thought, the Falcons would probably be pretty close in this game, especially being able to keep it close against the Eagles last week. Chiefs just find ways to win games, whether it be through the refs or whether it be through playing good football. But I'm taking the Chiefs 21. Falcons 17, barely covering that 3.5 spread. I was just lucky. Didn't again, look at the spread after I picked the scores. Just close to the spread. I guess I was with the books on this one. But I'm taking the Chiefs. And then finally? I think this is the last game. We have Bills 24, Jaguars 13. I don't know why the spread is only -4.5. And especially with the Bills at home. Or wait, is this in London? Oh boy. No, I don't think they have any in London yet. Yeah, because this is Monday Night Football. So Bills, how are they? So there's 3 points usually awarded to the home team, and for like betting odds. So you would say if this was a neutral playing field, that would suggest that the Bills are only favored by 1.5, which is insane to me. The Bills, I think, are one of the best teams in the NFL, and the Jaguars have looked like shit. Trevor Lawrence was 14 for 30 last week. So I don't know what that was all about with their betting odds. But if you want to bet on a game, I would absolutely bet on the Bills. Just because I think they're a great football team this year, and I don't see how the Jaguars are going to be able to keep within 4.5 points. But we'll see what happens. I'm taking the Bills 24, Jaguars 13. And then we get to the end here, where I have week 1 did great. We went 12-4. Week 2 we went 9-7. And then as you can see, that's my just money line bets there. So we're 21-11 so far, money line. And then against the spread, I'm only 14-18. We had another bad week last week. First 2 weeks we were both 7-9. So not doing too hot against the spread. I think this one could be a rough one too with some of my picks that I made. But I guess the actual how the games go will be the judge of that. And then the better rushing team, we talk about that every week, where whichever team runs the ball better, and that's judged by usually yards, average yards per carry, and then I'm factoring in one big long run. So if they ran like shit, but there was an 80-yard touchdown run, we're not going to factor that into the numbers. And that's honestly, it's kind of a personal judgment there as far as who was better at running. They were 10-6 last week, the team that ran the ball better. And that's been very important this year, with through 2 weeks, the entire NFL averaging 125 rush yards a game, which is honestly kind of incredible. We're getting back to like 90s, early 2000s football, maybe, I guess. I don't know what's going on. We're in a league where running the ball seems to be better, and Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold are in an MVP race. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe it's going to be like, what was that 2016 or 2017 season where it was like Bortles? I don't remember the players, but whatever. The better rushing teams, 20-12. They were 10-6 last week. So 10-6 both weeks for the better rushing team. And I was 7-9 both weeks so far against the spread. But let me know what you think of my picks down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're doing these videos every week. So I will be back. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.